This is a Play Your Way Network presentation. Get the full story at PlayLifeYourWay.com. In a world where the top film franchises are either reboots, comic adaptations, or just an overhyped waste of time, Play Your Way Network is back, and this time it's personal. With Derreck and BK riding along to help you curate your movie news, theories, and reviews the Player Way. This is the weekly Movie Chat Podcast, hosted by BK Jackson and Derreck Lewis.
Weekly Movie Chat Podcast. I am your resident podcast DJ, BK, helping you understand how to do your movies, news, and reviews
The Player Way.
And I never do this thing alone. I am here with a new season, a new name, but the same old pimping on the microphone. Oh yeah, we got to get it going because it's not enough to just do it right. We got to do it.
Corrupting the system. The Player Way.
Derreck Lewis, give it to him, baby.
You already know it is corrupting the system. We are back once again, sipping anything within reach. You already know, corrupting the system, and your resident podcast DJ coming at you in stereo. You know what I'm saying?
In stereo. And, you know, speaking of stereo, I got to do one of my classic transitions that really just flip it all the way on its head. Shout out to our new and improved workflow. I'm feeling like I'm on the Starship Fantasy right now. Over to my right, because my left hand is already taken by the Joker, the corrupting the system man, Derreck Lewis. On the right side, I got our brand new producer. Ladies and gentlemen, show your love for James Turner.
Hey, how's it going, y'all?
Yeah, that's what's up.
Good to be here.
So crazy, man. We getting professional.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta put some swag at the end if you're gonna say professional.
Hey, you gotta turn your swag on, as my wife would say, professionally. Shout out to my wife, Rachel.
Oh,
yes. So yeah, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, everyone
ladies.
between, with all due respect, I'm your resident podcast DJ BK, helping you understand how to curate your movies, news, and all of the news you can use.
The Player Way.
Yeah, we definitely taking it up the next notch. If you never heard this podcast before and it sounds like we are back for the very first time, that is correct. It is a paradox that we have here. We are definitely corrupting the system.
Corrupting the system.
Season 1, we were a little known podcast called the Player Way Podcast, where we helped you curate your news and media, the Player Way. And as we kind of evolved, we realized that the only thing we really were centered around was box office draws, the movies, MoviePass holders we are, and are we, if you will. A quick shout out, I would be remiss if I did not mention Nate Peterson, our third co-captain. He is not gone, he's not fired, nor did he quit. He's just kind of taking a hiatus. He's going to be back for bigger things when we do bigger movies and news and stuff like that. But as far as the podcasting ship is going to be steered by yours truly and his brother from another mother, Derreck Lewis.
You already know.
Already know, man.
DTX is still corrupting that
Exactly.
system.
But from here's forth, we're not known as the top 5. We had a little weekly top 5 thing for a little bit. Then we were the Play Away Podcast. We kind of combined those two different podcasts. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with all due respect,
this is the weekly Movie Chat Podcast. The Player Way.
Completely transformed for your pleasure. There you go. All right, so like I said, MoviePass carriers are we. You know, it's so funny I would mention that. We just released an article on PlayLifeYourWay.com, PlayerWayPodcast.com. You could also find it at PlayYourWayNetwork.com. But essentially, we do all kinds of movies, news. We do video game reviews. Shout out to Weekly Games Chat. And we do all kind of articles on there. So if you want to know what we're doing in between time and in the meantime, we kind of have this strict rule that each of us have to write a couple of articles a month to kind of keep and feed the beast. And one of those articles I published earlier this month. It's called Film Weekly Movie Chat. MoviePass reduces services to members and alternative services in case of emergency. The long and short of it, I got this email, as well as all of you guys who are part of MoviePass, this email that talks about this transition to a new subscription plan. Basically, long story long, what MoviePass is doing is they promised us this idea of a movie a day at $9.99 or along that price. Would you agree, Derek?
I would definitely agree. One of our former writers brought this to my attention when it was in its infancy, and then it kind of grew and it grew on us because it really had a good thing going for a good amount of time. But exactly what you predicted, I want to say almost a year to the date, might have been 13 months ago, where you're like, at some point, the foundation is upon saying it's going to start crumbling, and
shutting it down, man.
It's shutting it down, man.
Absolutely.
We're at the precipice.
Absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, the new subscription that they kind of automatically signed all of us up for. James, you got that subscription service too, right?
Yeah.
So were you like me that all of a sudden you got an email
voluntold.
and it was like, your new membership will include up to 3 standard movies a month for $9.95. You will also be eligible for $2 to $5 off any additional movie tickets purchased within the billing cycle. You got that as well?
I got that email too.
How did you feel when that came to your inbox without them asking for permission to just change your subscription up?
I mean, my first reaction was, okay, this is gone now. I'm getting rid of this. That's it.
And Derek, how are you feeling? I mean, you're a family man.
Return to sender.
How is this affecting how you view movies?
Honestly, it was something that I was skeptical because of the direction that it was headed, because the value really wasn't there, and it was hard. It was a hard sell anyway. Just the idea of a movie a day for $10, like, there was no way this was going to be profitable. And then they've made, I want to say this is the 5th or 6th update they've made to your subscription without informing any options. It's like, hey, it's either this or this. And now that we're at this, it's just the draw of it is less than magnetic.
Well, the sad thing about it is that they didn't have to give away so much. It's like that friend who gives and gives and gives so much, and you're always like, wow, you're so generous, and I don't want to take this from you, but you're giving it to me, and I'm in no position to not take it. So I'm going to take this, and then they go broke trying to help you, and you're like, well, I'm broke. I can't really help you out. I mean, you have to do what makes sense for you. That one friend who goes on trips with you and never has enough money by the end of the trip, and you're like, I've been that friend before when we were in New York City, and I was doing so much trying to help y'all get cab rides for free and pay for rounds of beer, at clubs after hours, and I get to the end and I'm like, I don't have any money for the cab trip. MoviePass is that friend that is like a drain on you. Like, they sound really good on the front end, they have their stuff together, but at the end of the trip, you're just everybody's having to pay the price. And here's how the price is going to be paid, because they got us used to this premium subscription plan. If you could scroll down, James, real quick on that article, scroll to the very bottom. Mm-hmm. Basically, your runner-ups are, you got AMC Stubs A-List. You can see up to 3 movies every single week. It's the Premier Stubs membership for AMC, and if you don't know why that's significant, AMC is one of the big 3. Regal is one of the other ones, and Cinemark is the other one. Cinemark is really big in Texas, right, Derek?
Yeah, Cinemark, AMC. I mean, probably Cinemark's the most common theater I go to, and then AMC, and that's based off location.
Do you get Regals out there everywhere? Much?
Regal's not near as popular in Dallas. There's a couple, but more so here in Dallas, it's like Cinemark, AMC, and then it's like Studio Movie Girl or Alamo Drafthouse.
S&G.
Those type are iPick, those type of ones. Yep.
Yeah, moment of silence, man. Shout out to Alamo Drafthouse. I really wish we had one of those here, man, out in Atlanta. But Regal is super huge here. So I was never a big fan of Cinemark. Their theaters, in my opinion, are a little subpar, but maybe they've gotten better over the last decade. How
they are leather, wide seat, reclining, multi-positioning, wide. They up their game, definitely.
You've earned your point, sir. Exactly. All right, so you changed my mind on that
times,
one. So
times.
anyway, by the way, I'm going to chase the rabbit for a second. People have listened to this podcast before, and they're like, what is with the ding sound effect? The sound effect is when a person changes another person's mind. So, like, when a person, one of the co-captains, one of the hosts...
Or a valid point.
Exactly. They make a valid point that maybe you might be a sayer of nay before that moment.
You made me... I rethought my opinion based off what you just said.
Exactly. Very solid point. A point, sir. A palpable point. A palpable hit, sir. Exactly. There you go. So anyway... Did
you say Abe Lincoln?
Abe Lincoln. Exactly. But so for AMC my point of all of this is AMC to join up and to create this 3 movies every week premium subscription service, but theirs is priced at twice the price of MoviePass. And the problem with that is you get less accessibility, because if you don't have an AMC near you, or there's only a few, when certain things are sold out, you don't have the choice of going to one of their competitors that we talked about. Studio Movie Grill is one of those movie services and theater chains that actually is profitable for MoviePass. They want you to go to these premium services that give you reserved seating, because all they're doing is they're flipping over these cheap passes that you can actually, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually get a pass to Studio Movie Grill on, what's the name of that service, James, where the app that you can get stuff at discount prices?
Not sure. Let me think.
It's the one, it's like Groupon.
Groupon. Okay.
There you go. Groupon.
She just said Tiffany Haddish.
Exactly.
So
exactly. I was thinking like green, but yeah, Groupon is like you can get like for $5. So essentially, that's all they're doing is they're flipping that Groupon into that service. So services like that do well, but the bigger chains like AMC and Regal, they're squeezing their competition out. So.
And honestly, like Cinemark also has had a movie club membership thing for like the past while, and they also go a step further to give you like 20% off snacks and no online fees or convenience fees, which can add up after a while, and their movies roll over. However, the cost and the benefit, you're going to kind of look at the comparison between $8.99 per month for one movie versus $20 for up to 3. You got to look at your own schedule and time frame for that. You know, if you can swing that, balance it out.
Basically. Yeah. So where the gas comes in is that you get these bigger chains that have a control over how their bottom line works. They have been here forever. They have survived your predecessors, and they will survive you. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Not Studio Movie Grill, but MoviePass comes out, gives us this promise of a movie a day for 30 days, and now they've raised the price point to the point where AMC can charge you $20, give you a more steady product, and you're going to get less accessibility than you had with the other service. So all MoviePass at the end of the day is doing is making all of this. They're giving us this new idea of kind of just like being at Sam's or Costco and setting this trend for moviegoers. But I don't know if it's going to be cheaper for us in the end. What are you thinking, Derek?
I 100% agree with you, and a step further, the key to the consumer, because the old adage of the customer is always right is not correct in any way, shape, or form. It's not. The customer is not always right. However, the customer always wants convenience. MoviePass is not convenient. AMC Stubs A-List is convenient. That's what's going to win out.
And why is MoviePass not convenient?
I don't want to have, because you have to check in within a certain distance of the theater. That makes a huge difference, because I have always appreciated Fandango or Movie Phone, the apps, because I could do it literally from anywhere on the planet. Yes. I didn't have to be within a certain area. That makes a huge difference, because if I want to go to a movie on the fly, I can whip up Fandango, touch the movie, and it's a go. AMC Stubs A-List, same thing. MoviePass, I need to go to the theater. Hopefully the ticket isn't sold out. Hopefully I can get some seats together. Like all these, you know what I mean? Yeah. All these nuances that the convenience of all these established businesses have already done. This is basic to them. Yeah. This is nothing to them. They know the convenience. And
what did you say it was?
It was an upstart. This is nothing to me.
No. You said it was something. It was.
Oh, which part?
It was basic.
Bitch, what?
Oh, this is basic. This is basic to them. They're like, yes, we know that people want to go on their phones and pick a movie. They don't want to drive to the movie theater to be within a certain distance because they would just go in the theater and get it. That's the whole benefit of having the app to do it.
And the other point that I thought you were going to hit on is that MoviePass is also, because they have this, not only is it not super convenient for people who are using the pass the right way, people like us aren't trying to cheat the system. So it makes our experience a lot more difficult. But the people who are abusing the system, it's a super abusable system. We don't need a movie a day. You could have given us a movie per week and we would have been just fine. And
that would have made the most sense because movies are released every week.
But no, what they're doing is like, oh, well, you already seen Infinity War. You can only see it one time. What? That makes no sense. That's not what I want. Figure out a way to have some sort of token program to where you can see any 4 movies one time, but then the 5th movie that you get per month, you can repeat if you want any of those movies. You know, there's only going to be...
Assuming you use all 4.
Exactly.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something
like a benefit,
like that,
a bonus program. Use the system.
Yeah, definitely. Scroll down a little bit, James. One of the other runner-ups is there's this other service that was kind of a runt of the litter coming out called Cinemia. It looks like an extravagant overseas credit card. But it's a great casual, I guess, if you only want to see one movie a month. I mean, I'd rather just buy a movie ticket on Groupon but we'll see what happens, man. Exactly. I'm really hoping that MoviePass figures out a way to balance it out, because here's the truth. Despite all of the fumbles that are going on, MoviePass, I know you guys may not feel this way, but MoviePass is definitely still the best deal going right now. I mean, it really is. Even though there's only 3 movies a month, you can go to any theater you want, provided that they allow them in there. The biggest problem, however, is the limited viewings available of a given film. So, like, if you want to see that Christopher Robin movie, there was a big problem with being able to see that here in Atlanta. You know, not every place was showing it. So,
well, to me, it comes down to what's the major theater in your area.
Yes.
Because where I used to live in Columbus, Georgia.
Okay, I see what you're going. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It's all a. It's
no. Start over. Rewind that back. Exactly. Rewind that back. We want to hear that. Let's say that one more time. Because you just said something profound.
Well, I said it basically boils down to what's in your area.
So what subscription service you choose should be, and what we're doing is we're giving you a Player Way recommendation.
The Player Way.
From your brand new movie show.
Movie Chat Podcast.
Okay. You're going to want to look out for what theater is
most accessible
to in your area. All right, go ahead and continue, brother.
Because I was saying I have a friend who's on the AMC Stubs program. They actually live in Columbus, Georgia. They only have AMCs in Columbus.
Right.
Because the whole area got bought out. The local theater there got bought out by AMC.
Great case study.
So it makes sense for them to do the AMC Stubs. You get 3 movies a week. You get to reserve your seats online. You can use it instead of 3 movies for a week. You can actually do an IMAX or a 3D version. Like, I think you get 1 of those a week instead of the 3 movies a week. So the benefits outweigh what MoviePass has to offer.
Yes.
If you live in an area where it's
very limited. In Columbus, Georgia, you're talking about Main Street. You know, you put it out there on Main Street. These are the people who are the heartland of America. These are the people who wear the MAGA hats. You know, these are the people who are going to really make sure you get to the White House. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that you take care of the heartbeat of America.
Hey, now, Columbus was blue.
They were
blue last year.
I was going to see how far I
could get. Is Columbus great again?
I was going to see how far I could get with it.
Shout out to my people in Columbus.
Columbus is great again.
Blue last year.
I know, right? I'm messing
But
with you,
Columbus didn't invite.
Well, in the last
They're not
election,
invited to
you
the
know.
funeral,
right?
though.
Anyway,
But I agree with you. I agree with you, right? Because Carmike was bought out completely by AMC. They don't have any other chains
they don't
in.
have anything else.
So it doesn't make sense to have anything but that.
Yeah.
But here in Atlanta, you got a bunch of different options, and Studio Movie Grill is really huge here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a huge Studio Movie Grill person, you get the access of, like, when I want to go see a movie and I don't want to have to stand in line, I go on MoviePass and get Studio Movie Grill tickets. Mm-hmm. And I'm able to get right on in there, reserve it hours in advance if I want to,
right.
and I don't have any problems with showings. The only problem I have is seeing the same film more than once. That's the big problem for me with MoviePass. So we're going to see. We're going to see. We can work with that.
We can work with that.
Exactly.
We can look at those lights with
Exactly. So at the end of the day, what are you thinking, James, the producer? What are you thinking you're going to want to do in terms of in the next 6 months? You think you stay on MoviePass? What you doing?
My thing is I'm going to have to weigh my options. That's all.
Weigh my options. All right.
Because it's not looking good for MoviePass. That's
all right. I mean, look, you want to do you for a little bit.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's okay. A little me time. Put yourself first. What about you, Derek?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I've been doing the Fandango thing for a long time. I mean,
Creature of
and
habit.
I get tons of rewards.
Yeah.
I get tons of rewards and everything with them, where I can see free movies per month. And this is an old thing that's been going on for a while. MoviePass has been a little too up and down, and that's my money.
Yep.
You know what I mean? People don't play about that, and people aren't going to be comfortable with a company that has access to your debit or credit card or money that keeps flip-flopping their services. A place that's going to do that is not going to inspire confidence in its consumers. And consumers, as I mentioned earlier, they want familiarity and they want convenience. I'm not going to be familiar with the company that's fairly new, that keeps changing their motto, that keeps changing their product, keep changing the idea. Well, we're going to give you this. Now let's adjust it to this. And they keep making those adjustments. People are going to want to stick with that. And me personally, like I said, it's something that, it's given me a lot of pause for that particular company. And, as much as I like movies, I don't want to have to be hitting a brick wall with frustration with a place that's supposed to be making things easier and more convenient for me. And that's really where I would stand on that.
Got you. Well, there you go. We have definitely talked that to death. We can put a fork in it because it's completely done. So when it comes down to...
Wait, what kind of fork is that?
Exactly.
I'm saying, that's a serious fork.
Hey, medieval. It's a medieval fork.
That's that old yellow fork.
Exactly. Put him down. Dog dead. He broke his back. The back is broken. Speaking of broken, Crazy Rich Asians broke the box office this past weekend. I'm really overhitting it a little bit, but they definitely did do their box office draw.
The Player Way.
They completely murdered their competition. So The Meg is an interesting film because I could have swore we had The Meg as a film about a girl who was like Meg Griffin. Wasn't there like a movie called The Meg a while back about this girl who was like ugly, but they made her into a pretty girl at school?
I know what you're talking about.
I could have swore that was a movie. Pull that
What?
up on IMDb real quick. I'm pretty sure that was another movie
Are you
called The
mixing
Meg.
this up with She's All That or something?
It was
What are
something
you-
similar to that. It was called The Meg. It was called The Meg. Scroll down. Let's see more. Click more. It says more. See.
I'm not co-signing on that just yet. I need some
I
facts
could
and
have
receipts.
swore but anyway, while James is picking that up, no, that's another movie. While James is looking out for that, but there was another movie called The Meg. I'm almost for certain of it, and it was about some girl who was nerdy. Ruby Rose. There it is.
What?
2018. No, maybe that's a different one. Never mind. That's something else. That's Jason Statham. Scroll down. Anyway,
Jason
we'll
Statham,
find
that's
it.
The Meg. That's The Meg Shark.
Yeah. I could have swore there was another movie called The Meg. We're going to look that up. We're going to get the facts and receipts, as Derek will say. But in the meantime, can you tab over real quick for me? All right, so you got Crazy Rich Asians that completely dominated at 24,808,000. Then you got The Meg basically only making about half of that. at 12,812,000, and then you got the Happy Time Murders that actually opened this past weekend at 9 million. I am not at all 9.5 million. I'm not at all interested in the Happy Time Murders. The idea of there being this puppets that get killed, like
it's like they're trying to recreate Avenue Q, the
yeah,
musical in a way.
yeah,
And
but not only that, like it's also because I think it's because Seth Rogen had that benefit concert on Netflix, and he had a lot of
he did.
yeah, he had a lot of Muppets in it, and I think there's this. I'm just one of those people that even when I was a kid, I always thought the Muppets were overrated. You know, like I'm kind of one of those people.
They never interested me. I was never into puppets.
I'm like as a kid when you still think puppets are real people and Muppet Babies. I mean, shout out to Muppet Babies. That'll always be exactly, man. But like, I don't get the appeal of grown people giving primetime booking to puppets.
Like,
I don't
sex, murder, and puppets is the
murder,
tagline.
murder.
It sounds like a terrible. It sounds like a murder. Sex, murder. This sounds like a VH1 behind the scenes follow up. You know, the story of Seth Rogen, Happy Time Murders, sex, murder, and puppets. It doesn't even.
Yeah.
It doesn't even appeal. The box office speaks volumes.
Yeah.
This box
And
office
then, of
speaks
course,
volumes.
Mission Impossible Fallout, which to me is one of the best action films that ever came out this year. Dare I say ever came out. It's one of those movies that... Have you seen Mission Impossible Fallout yet, Derek? Really good film. I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, moving on to that. What's coming up this weekend, James?
That's what's crazy for a Labor Day weekend. There's not much. That's what blows my mind. Like for a Labor Day weekend, I don't think I've seen a Labor Day weekend with as little coming out. Like there's more coming out the 7th than there is for the actual weekend where it would
What's coming out this
money.
weekend?
Well, the only thing of quote unquote wide release is the movie called Kin. That's it though. But that's not even, and everything else is independent. Like The Nun is what comes out next week.
Man, I'm so ready for The Nun, dude. I thought The Nun was already out, man, and I was so ready. Yeah, Searching came out. That was supposed to be a big thing. Ken is coming out. Oh yeah, that's the one about the kid who finds the weapon in the future and the people who want to hunt him down. Yeah, it's right now. It's not much going on. There's also Operation Finale that's got some Nazi connections. But we're really, to me, this is the first time in a long time that we've had a September that was just, like last year we had a lot. It was like a horror renaissance. It was coming out, and that set the tone.
It
set the tone.
Yeah.
We also had, on Netflix and stuff, we had Stranger Things coming back out and stuff. So it's kind of a weird September right now. Really interested to see what that's going to kind of do for us. I'm definitely excited about The Nun coming out, a Conjuring sequel. Derek, have you seen all of the Conjuring films?
Oh yeah. I'm up on all that. Like, there's so much material there. There's like movies for that whole storeroom. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like that's the business. That was.
I'm really excited to see where they're
for
going. All of those movies are always very well done. The last one was a little slower than the original Conjuring. Nothing will beat the original Conjuring film where Vera Farmiga goes outside and she's at the clothing line and the sheet falls and there's a specter shape of a person. That is like, even now I'm getting chills about that.
Just thinking about one of my favorite things, like to really immerse myself in movies, as I've mentioned on the Playerway podcast, where I like to look at it as if it is the true cinematic adventure. I try to transcend the moment and view it as, oh, this is a documentary on something that legitimately happened. But these are actual cases where these are loosely based on all their actual happenings. So just the idea of that it's just put yourself in that position where you step out to your backyard and that happens. Like, it's
right.
a wrap. I will have a prepubescent scream and a Derek-shaped hole through the door back in the house. I mean,
Exactly.
Of course, that wouldn't really make it good because then I would have let whatever else in, but I ain't trying to deal with all that. So, but I'm excited. It's getting around to be fall season and horror season.
Exactly.
You know
With The Nun, if you don't know about it, The Nun is you need to go back and before you see The Nun, you need to go back and watch The Conjuring 1 and The Conjuring 2. Specifically The Conjuring 2. There's shades of The Nun in the first Conjuring, but the second one, she's all up in it. And she's kind of like this ancient evil that the main character played by Vera Farmiga, she like can't take what's happening. And so The Nun goes all the way back to the origin of this demon priest with a haunted past and just takes place in Romania. I'm really excited. James Wan always does an amazing job because this is, even though he's not directing it, this is his story. So I'm sure this is going on. And on top of that, Thaisa Farmiga, so of the same namesake as the main character from the previous films, Thaisa, she's in there as well. So I'm all in. Okay, I put a.
They already got your money.
They got my money. It's already spent. And then of course, without getting too much into it, we do have Predator. Is it Predators coming out on the 14th?
No, you're right. The Predator.
The Predator. Yes. There you go. Are you excited about that one?
Honestly, I mean, it's yes and no. I'll address the negative part. The no part, just because, as we have in our tagline, there's so many reboots and everything, and I feel that this franchise really could have taken a different turn back in the 90s, honestly, to be completely honest. Before they tried to do the AVP and those things, they really downplayed the horror of what a Predator was, man. Yeah. Like, that was
they kind of made the Predator into an anti-hero a little bit.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So this, I feel like this is going to be now leading to the other part of my answer of yes. I'm excited because of the new Predator that's in it, where you kind of have the shades of the past versus the shades of what the path may be before us. So that does excite me, and they have my money.
You're going to definitely see that one. I'm going to definitely see The Nun, and we'll be able to give them some notes. And that's how this podcast is going to work, y'all. We've trimmed the fat. We're not going to be wasting time talking about things that you don't care about. If you are a fan of the Playaway Podcast, it's because you definitely enjoy movies. So that's why we completely changed the name over, and we're definitely going to continue to do it.
The Player Way.
Right here on.
This is the weekly movie chat podcast.
That's right. That's what's going down, man. If there's nothing else for the good order, is anything else that we need to kind of keep the people abreast of?
Oh, man, you covered on that. You know what I'm saying?
Did I chop it, smothered it, and cover it?
Hey, man, I like my Waffle House hash browns like that.
Hey, we made it a straight Waffle House, man. That's exactly right. Well, that's what's up, man. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, I know this is a short episode, just a little over 30 minutes. It's because it's our first time starting back. We gave you a lot of information about where we're headed. What you can kind of expect, go ahead and maximize that page, James. Check us out on playlifeyourway.com, the Play Your Way Network page. We got all kinds of movie news, reviews of video games, upcoming stuff on video games. Shout out to Ruben Shaw, Rube Ziggy. He had this really interesting indie film talent search over this past year, and he's brought all of this independent talent. He brought a little island feel to it, and he put together this amazing comedic. The term masterpiece is overused, but for what it is and for the level that Ruben aspires to, you got to see this thing. It's like watching this guy who's going to be somebody in terms of, like, when you see 50 Cent doing stuff like 50 Central, when you see the Chappelle Show, you know. Think about how much we saw Dave Chappelle do early in his career when people were sleeping on him. When black people wasn't really giving Dave Chappelle a shot, and white people was like, yo, this is going to be the next dude. Like, Ruben has definitely put something together. The name of the show, it's kind of like a show / short films called Got 'Em 2. It's a sequel to the original Got 'Em. He's got some really funny stuff on that. And the Play Your Way Network, we were honored to actually donate our time and energy to help get that thing filmed. So shout out to Ruben. You are definitely doing production
the player way.
So since we focusing on movies, when you get the movie roles and all that stuff, bro, come on the podcast and we'll definitely give you them exclusives.
Exclusive.
The player way.
Exclusive.
Going back to the page, James, real quick for us. Derek, anything on the page that you want people to watch out for that's out there right now on our network page?
Looking coming up, it's always good to take a look at the weekly games chat because that's definitely going to always address the video gamer. Within me personally, my Game of the Year vote already is God of War, and they just recently released a whole new mode in their new game plus for all the people like me who put so many hours of your life to beat the game. Now you actually get to go through again and replay the game with different character animations and little different arcs with all the benefits there. So always stay up because we are always providing you the weekly games chat business.
Exactly.
Always.
Weekly games chat. Shout out to Chris, Sean, and John. They are always giving the goodness, and we really appreciate them keeping content on the site over the summer while we were reformatting, restructuring, and being reinvigorated. So that's what's going down. Anything else for the good of the order, guys?
Well, I mean, for me, only thing I have just the family movie wise. I know we mostly talked about box office, but Netflix does have a really good family film coming out next gen, and it's follows a kid with the robot, top secret robot, helps a lonely girl. So think shades of Wall-E and those type of things, but futuristic setting. And I showed the trailer to my kids the other day, and they're definitely hyped about it. That comes out on the 7th, so that's definitely, after you go check out The Nun and get freaked out, scoop up the kids and watch that on Netflix, you know what I'm saying? And, there'll be some other things coming out on Netflix as well, but stay tuned to the website as you'll be having some articles following thusly.
Thus and so. And in that, we're going to end it just like that. We are always continuing to be just like the namesake of Mr. Derreck Lewis, a.k.a.
Corrupting the system.
That is what we're doing with Play Your Way Network. There's all kinds of sites out there that are trying to force crap down your throat, but the Play Your Way Network is all about curating the best and brightest content, as well as giving you some lifestyle options so that you can not be flooded with useless information, but given quality as opposed to quantity. And we're going to always keep corrupting that system.
The player way.
Ain't that right, D?
And remember, stay weird out there, folks. After all, we're just agents. So if you don't like what me and BK are broadcasting, I strongly encourage you to and applaud you for corrupting the system.
Corrupting system.
And that's the way exactly how we're going to end that right there. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, with all due respect and love, I have been your resident podcast DJ, BK, helping you understand how to curate your movies, news, and media.
The player way.
And shout out to Derek. Thanks for being back, dude, hanging in there with us. And, of course, James Rash, the producer.
Hey, thank you again for having me on the show.
Man, he bringing something to the table, did he not, man?
Modesty, man, boy, you already know. That boy might be coming with the crack.
Coming with the crack. Got to keep it crack.
I also want to co-sign on that God of War, by the way.
Oh, really?
Boom, bro.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, no matter what paths you choose or what actions you decide to follow, just make sure you're always doing it
the player way.
We'll see y'all next week.
This has been the weekly Movie Chat Podcast, hosted by BK Jackson and Derreck Lewis. Studio engineer and producer, James Turner. Contributing writers, Ian Robert Parsons, Darius Prather, Johnny Robinson, and Jonathan Barron. And I'm Darren Marlar, showing you how to do voiceovers the player way. Get this and more lifestyle news at PlayLifeYourWay.com.